Good evening. Welcome to you all. I'm glad to see you've connected here this evening. Tonight, we're going to be looking at grants, and these are grants that are available to clubs, to zones, to districts. And I'm going to share my screen. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation worked up. I thought it would be better to show you live where you can find this information and get things moving for your own club, for your own zone or district. So I'm going to share this one. Good. Here we are. Let me stop the share because I didn't share this correctly. I need to share the screen rather than just, there we are. All right. So talking about grants that are available to us, the information I'm going to be presenting tonight is grants that are available through different Lions organizations. There may be other grants outside of Lions that are available to you within your own community. There are a number of sources that you might be able to tap into when it comes to working with grants. And almost every county, almost every town, every city has these foundations available. Reach out and find out where they're at. But I want to talk about three specific sites. One is the Northwest Lions Foundation. The other is as I bring it up, the MD19 Lions Foundation. And then, of course, Lions International and LCIP. I want to take first the Northwest Lions Foundation. This has been around for a very, very, very long time. And they have been working with sight and hearing projects almost the entire time. Initially, it started off with sight, of course, and it was started as an adjunct as a result of formation of the eye bank, the Lions Eye Bank in Seattle at the University of Washington. And of course, it's grown and moved and developed since then. But the Northwest Lions Foundation has grants available, and I'm looking at the website. Yeah. There we are. That's not what I wanted to do. There we are. That's what I wanted. So I've clicked on the grants tab up at the top. And of course, their primary effort is working for sight and hearing. And they used to be called the Sight and Hearing Foundation. Now they're just called the Northwest Lions Foundation. But they still concentrate on sight and hearing. And they've got four different grants, one for sight, one for hearing, and they've got project support grants for projects that will take place over an extended period of time instead of a one-time event. They've got, you can apply for a grant that is either something happening January through June, and of course it doesn't have to encompass that entire 6-month period. But if you've got something that's going to be going on for some time, you can utilize this one or the part two, which of course is July through December. The criteria for each of them are explained in the application itself. I'm going to bring up the patient care, and that's what they use primarily for the site. And here they have a detailed explanation as to how this thing is operating, and for their primary um, 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 patient care efforts, I guess you might call it, like cataract surgery, magnification equipment, hearing aids, baby monitors for deaf parents. Oh, yeah, kind of cool. And of course, they have got an income qualification standard that you have to work with as well. So, looking at this the 2025 federal guidelines, I have found that the number of times that we have for our club that we have put in for the grant, it has been very, very easy for the actual patient to fit into one of these categories because typically they don't approach us unless they're at this level of income. And so it's been fairly easy. And once we send the information in, once we send the actual application in, within days, we get the response. Many times, especially for glasses, many times they will be working directly with the optometrist. It's all explained in detail in the actual application, which has got all of this information here. So it's pretty easy to work with. And if it's something that is beyond just eyeglasses, if you've got surgery involved, this is an expensive proposition. And for someone at poverty level, it's kind of out of reach for them. This is a wonderful tool that you can use to actually help our neighbors that may be facing something a little more drastic than with just working with eyeglasses. Want to
Hey,
question? Yeah, go
Al,
ahead.
where does the um, cornea transplants come in this? Are we involved in that at all?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. In fact, that's one of their primary efforts that they work with, almost since the very beginning is corneal transplants.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah. And because they've been doing this for a long time, many times they're able to do this at a level where the patient can pay almost nothing. That it's really kind of cool the way they operate it. If you've never had a tour of an eye bank, if you've never had a tour of this organization, let me bring this up again. If you've never had a tour of this organization, about here we are. They were associated with SightLife, and since then, the Lions Eye Institute of Florida has now taken it over. And they are, if you've never been over there, they're on 6th Avenue, as I recall. They occupy 2 floors of a very large building, and the research that's going on, the logistics that's going on, the the effort to it's really expanded from the simple thing that they did at the very beginning with collecting corneal tissue and sending it out to surgeons. It's expanded tremendously. And now they have a reach literally around the world. They are working with doctors, with ophthalmologists. Yes, I know what an ophthalmologist is. They work with ophthalmologists literally around the world, and they're sending tissue. They are collecting and distributing information. It's incredible the work that they got going on there. If you ever have an opportunity and you're in downtown Seattle, look them up and see if you can get a tour.
Okay. But we still do transplants here in Seattle then, or do we?
Do what? Say again?
Do we do any transplants, eye cornea transplants in Seattle still and store anything here?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Over here
okay.
in Bremerton, yeah, they do
Okay.
transplants here in Bremerton and
Okay.
local hospital. And oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, for them that's fairly common.
Thank you.
Al,
Yeah.
is this, I assume this is only for the United States.
No.
The grants are focused on the US. Yeah. In fact, I think, don't quote me, but I think the grants are focused for MD-19. I think. I've not really asked that question before, so I'm not sure. So, but we can presume the United States, yeah, yeah, for the grants end of it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, moving over to the MD-19 Lions Foundation. Now, this foundation, and I want to highlight this right here, is their focus is service and leadership development. So for them, their grants are in a different area. As I click on the grants tab up here at the top for the foundation, and I motor on down, I talk about well, working with a variety of different ways that you, if it fits into service, if it fits into leadership, yeah, especially leadership development, I tell you what, you've got some great opportunities here. For instance, they are the organization that has funded for a very long time half of the tuition requirements for students attending the Northwest Lions Leadership Foundation.
Mhm.
And they've got the application for that right here. the institute, the folks that run the institute every year, they make sure each of the students get one of these in their hand and fill it out and send it through, because it makes a big difference. It really does. And for other things, for grants or loans or financial assistance, they've got a single form here. And I know I keep hitting that magnify thing. And now I'm going to zoom in on this one. It outlines the procedures, the step by step, and then, of course, the actual application itself, requirements for information and the details that you need to utilize. It's all fairly simple and straightforward. I can tell you that this particular foundation has money that is available. In fact, they budget every year for a certain amount. They expect a certain amount of grant requests to come through. And in the past few years, the grant requests have not been coming through. And so, therefore, the budgeted money that they expected to send out, a lot of it is still there at the foundation, and they would like to send it out. If you've got a project coming up, if you've got something big coming up or small, you need seed money, and it is in the area of service or leadership, check into this. This is a great opportunity, and it's local. These are MD-19 folks. In fact, if you look at the website and you look at the directors, you'll find probably some familiar names in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So even that guy there, when that Yahoo, the Nadine and John Kerry, yeah, Steve Brooks, of course.
Yeah.
So check it out. Great opportunities, and they if it can fit into one of those two different categories, you've got a good chance of getting some help from that foundation. Now I want to turn to Lions International. Funds from this organization actually come from two organizations, if you will. One is from Lions International. The other is Lions Clubs International Foundation, LCIF. And there, when you look at the grants, you'll find that there's a lot of commingling, if you will. Yeah. And the fastest, the easiest ways to find out information about grants is to utilize the search tool. And with the search tool, if you type in the single word of grant and hit the enter key, it's going to bring up all sorts of different ideas. The first one is the one that you want to the one you want to pay attention to. The first one right here, the grant types. And there we have, I've got some feedback coming from somewhere.
Mute me, will you, Al? I'm trying to fix my computer.
It's you. I
Yes,
should
sir.
have known.
Yeah.
Okay, you're muted. Okay, so that single link for grant types, you select that, you click on that, and it brings up a variety of different grants for LCIF. That's the first section here. They've got grants for vision, matching grant programs, which is talking about stuff that is not necessarily a specific category that they list here, like diabetes and disaster relief and hunger, etc. There's a lot of opportunities here for each of them. The criterias are different and the deadlines are different. Yeah, you need to pay attention to the deadlines, because if you don't get the deadline in on time, then of course the request goes nowhere. And if you want it for next year, you have to apply again for next year. So yeah, pay attention to the deadlines. I like the fact that they have got a variety of different categories, as well as the matching grant for the catch-all, if you will. But look at these different categories. Lions Quest, and we've got some Lions Quest presentation coming up on the schedule here. So if you're not familiar with Lions Quest, there's a great opportunity right there. Pay attention to the schedule. LCIF Leo service grants. For those clubs that sponsor Leos, if your Leos club wants to take on something big and they need some seed money, there you go. Community impact grants, hunger, humanitarian, oh, those are the awards, childhood cancer, and anything that does not fit into those categories, look at the matching grant program. Now, LCIF has traditionally been the primary source for Lions clubs to get funding for a variety of service type grants. So these are service type grants. If you scroll on down, Lions International has grants for membership development, leadership development, marketing, Leo's, new voices grants. And if you're eyeballing a new club that's going to be a specialty club, and specialty clubs are very, very easy to classify. I mean, almost any category, you've got yourself a specialty club. There's lots of opportunities here. And this is administered by Lions International, not LCIF. And again, they have different criteria and they have different deadlines. You need to pay attention to those as well. But they take this seriously. And for me, I think, it's kind of about time. The marketing grant program, this only came into being a couple of years ago. In my opinion, it should have been something that they've had available for a long time, but they finally got it. And if your club, if your zone, if your district wants to take on a big marketing project, and again, you need the financial help, this is your baby. Understand both LCIF and LCI, when they provide a grant and they transfer the money and so forth, there are requirements of follow through and follow up because you have to report periodically. And again, you'll see it in the information when you look up your particular effort. You'll see that during the project that there are periodic reports that you have to send to LCI or LCIF, and you have to provide receipts, and they really monitor closely what's going on. And if anything goes haywire and doesn't meet their criteria, doesn't meet their requirements, it means that there is sort of a black mark on your club, on your zone, or in your district, and getting another grant can be a little difficult. So make sure that when you do this, the plan that you develop, make sure that you utilize what they call the SMART element, the SMART standard for your plan, and make sure your plan is good and follow through. Follow through. When it comes to working with grants, there's lots of opportunities. And, a lot of Lions, a lot of leaders just don't know because they've never looked it up. It's amazing the opportunities that we've got here. So those are my three primary sources when it comes to grants: the Northwest Lions Foundation, the MD19 Foundation, and of course, LCI, Lions International, and LCIF. Those are our primary sources. Questions, thoughts, ideas? I think I may have put Bill to sleep.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I've got my space bar down. I have of course I do. I have a project that I am exploring for a totally accessible trail around the YMCA here in Shelton. That means that it has to be wheelchair accessible, hearing accessible, and visual accessible. And so it sounds to me like I need to start researching Northwest Lions Foundation.
I would suggest you do both the Northwest Lions Foundation and the MD19 Foundation as well. And if you're talking a project like that, can be some very, very, very large bucks. And it's possible that you may bump into the limitations of either of those foundations, in which case you might want to look at the LCIF grants that may be able to better fund it. And stuff like the matching grant program, or I'm looking here. Yeah. The trail that you're considering, is it primarily to benefit those that are blind or low vision?
Well, and hearing.
Okay.
I have, yes, all three of the with the wheelchair, the vision, and the hearing aspect, but it would benefit the community. Obviously, if it's wheelchair accessible, it's going to be accessible for buggies and strollers and walkers and whatever you wanted to do with it.
Yep. Well, you pointed it out, and I should have caught that earlier. Probably the Community Impact Grant Program is probably what you want to shoot for.
And that was at the Northwest Lions.
No, that's international, LCIF.
But in order to do that, I have done a little bit of research, and it has to benefit the whole district.
Well, it's labeled as district and club community impact. Club giving, yeah, okay. Eligible for a 15% grant and grant guidelines and examples. Matching funds, you have to have matching funds for this one. I'm wandering down, looking through their
Criteria.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, criteria, and maybe the criteria and the requirements may not meet what you're looking for, especially when it comes to the matching funds. So maybe the Northwest Lions Foundation or the MD19 Foundation may be a better source, or even both. I think
Okay. Thanks.
it's a great idea. Have you put together? Have you got the planning stage done on that yet?
I do to a certain point. ChatGPT and I have been working on this for the last 2 months.
Uh,
I have some very good instructions from them and some good ideas. YMCA has already received a check for $15,000 for the trail. So, we're gaining a little bit of momentum on this, and it's going to go around a 10-acre lot with lots of different things with it. Yeah.
cool, cool. I think it's a great idea. So yeah, check out the Northwest Lions as well as the MD19 Foundation, and just the concept, just the idea. My train of thought is you're exactly right, and you've got a good thing going there.
Thank you.
Quite welcome. Other questions or thoughts or ideas? I'm looking there at Bill and the other Bill or Bob. I'm sorry, Bob Derrigan, and Bob has been strangely silent this whole time.
Well, what if you had an idea for an environmental thing, a project, which ones would any of these grant areas be in that category?
The what? I'm sorry.
Something to do with environmental, um, improving the environment.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The probably again the community impact grant would
Yeah,
probably,
okay, I got you.
fit that. But again, look at all of the different sources there,
Yeah.
and you never know. Yeah. Other questions or thoughts? No? Okay. Well, this is proving to be a relatively short session here tonight. But I do want to thank you all for connecting in tonight and hopefully it presented some ideas that your club or your zone or your district might be able to pursue. And as we wrap up, I'd like to quote past District Governor Sharon Sykes when she says that we should, uh, and I'm playing with my monitor here and thinking of going haywire. The Sharon Sykes and quoting her when she says, "Let's go forward and do great things." Good night, all.
Good
Night.
night, Al.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Al.
Al.
Quite welcome.
Night.